evening and welcome back to game number 2 of tonight's Riot Trio Scrims, the Bounty Hunter edition. So as mentioned in game number 1, Avery from the Salty Snakes team of team 25 is the bounty for these 3 games. In game number 1 he was taken down by Fusion Elite Lawbean, so that team will get 4 points. So again we have 4 points available in game number 2. If Avery's team wins this match, it means that the 4 points will carry over to game number 3. So we are on a wrangle for game 2, and I am Abs, and I'm joined by the lovely Jammy.
Hello.
So Jammy, what is our flight path giving us today?
So we've got a southwest down in Primorse up to northeast near Stulber. So it's taking in a lot of the map, although it's slightly cutting off down in the far southeast. We've got a lot of teams going for a middle flight line jump. I'm following Avery. They're heading up towards the northeast, probably over to Georgia by the looks of it.
So we have a fair split of teams at the moment. Some going west, some going to the eastern side. Looks so team 21 7 Atoms along with team 9 Jen are heading towards the ferry pier. I don't think any teams are going to go over to military, but team 16 may prove me wrong. And we have a few teams up at Georgia Pole. So in a moment we will see the first zone of today. But before that, 7 Atoms Binks gets a knock on Elusive.
So over at the North Georgia Pole Apartments, we've got team 3 from Riot. We've got team 25, Salty Snakes, with Avery the Bounty. They're the only ones that have come over to the North Georgia Pole Apartments.
So that is the 7 Atoms team with 3 kills to begin with. And that means that Elusive are going out in 21st place.
So the first zone we've got, and it's a fully western zone, so it covers a lot of the flight path. So most teams won't struggle with this first zone. We've got a few that have gone up to the northeast, up towards Kameshki, past Stulber. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 teams up there. They're the only ones that are going to really struggle, but I think they're going to have a bit of a gunfight first.
And I think the issue with a wrangle is that for a lot of the time you kind of expect to find vehicles, and some matches, you know, you can find about 20 of them on the same road, and some of them you can find none. It's kind of like the issue that joke people make about police. When you want one, you can never find them. But when you don't want them, there's about 100.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, there, taking down the barrier to the secret room.
I didn't know that was there.
Did you not? There's another one. This one, I'm trying to see where he is. There's a couple actually in Kameshki. There's one here, and there's also a second one further up the hill. There's a few on Erangel now, and some of these buildings you'll notice it's got almost like a cellar entrance. So there's one outside the building, and there's one inside as well. And you can shoot them to break it open, and there's a secret room underneath, secret basement.
Well, you learn something new every day.
They don't always hold a huge amount, but sometimes you get lucky.
I think that's the case with all locations on these maps though. Some days it's just really lucky day for you and you'll find like an M24 and an 8 scope. And other days you'll probably just get like an energy drink or something.
Yep. Or, you know, if you're lucky you'll get a pistol.
So what I'm now going to do is just head over to Severly at the north end of the zone where we see Team 7 Risk. So they are just moving towards the shooting range away from Team 22. But PDX Subi has just got a knock on the Lionhearts.
I'm just spectating over the Georgia Pole crates here because there's a flare drop come down. And so I'm just following Welsh from Deathly Hallows. And he has got his favourite gun in the game. He's got the AWM.
Why does that not surprise me?
No, he's an aggressive player and he loves an AWM as well. So I don't know if he's found a scope yet. He's also got, by the looks of it, he's got an AWL out of the crate. They're running around on the crates and they look sweet. There's not many people around. No, there's no one else on the crates. We've got Team 23, one of the Zen teams, over at the South Georgia Pole Apartments. And on the North Georgia Pole Apartments, looks like the Riot team, Team 3, are rotating away slightly away from Team 25. They're all a bit spread out. trying to see if there's any. Actually, no one's gone to Millie Base. So even though it's out of zone, it was away from the flight line. No one even took a vehicle and went there. And there's just no one there. It's all waiting to be got.
And that is Matt of the Lionhearts being finished off by ZPX Wilo, because Nash wasted a molly by throwing it over at northeast when Matt was actually at southwest.
So I'm following Team 9 here, the Gen team, Fitzy, Temp and Nick. And they're heading over towards Ferry Pier. I don't think they realise that Team 27 Atoms are right in front of them. Fitzy with the VSS, I know that's one of your favourites.
Absolutely. Silent but deadly. So I'm back up at Komeshki with the Fusion Elite team of Team 12 going up against the Zen team of Team 24. Phil has just been taken down by Turbinator with car 98, and he is scoping in, waiting for either Alex or Neo to try and get the revive.
That was very close there. So 7 Actors Bings was just running up towards one of the buildings at the eastern ferry pier, and Fitzy appeared over the hill, and neither player saw each other for a minute, and Binks didn't even have a gun in his hand. If he had, he'd have been able to take a quick shot at Fitzy. As it happened, he didn't quite get his gun in his hand at the right time, but I don't think Fitzy noticed he was there. I'm going to check now and see where they're looking. Maybe he does, he's being a bit more cautious now, so perhaps he does realise there's someone there. Shots from the Uzi there from Fitzy onto Binks. Both players down to just over half health there.
Saying that though, something similar happened to me on Livic, and I think it was with you and Welshie, where I went down to the cave underneath the waterfall, and I thought that one of my teammates was with me. It was a totally random enemy, and I got shot in the face by a shotgun.
I wish I'd seen it, but that wasn't me in that match.
I was about to start shouting at him for nicking my crate.
Tim's been knocked here. And Nick and Fitzy didn't take it down from the side there. Fitzy. They're under some pressure here.
So Zen Alex just took a shot at Turbinator, and Turbinator fired back at the exact same time. Unfortunately, although Alex took half of Turbinator's health, Turbinator knocked Alex.
Oh dear. Now Fitzy here is being punched.
Oh no.
And that's the way to go. So 7 Atoms Kenzo, Fitzy and Gem Fitzy to death.
I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
Yeah. Nick now with the SKS, with Fitzy and Temp down. And the 7 Atoms players here, they're up on the hillside. There's a molly coming out. And oh dear, that was pretty decisive there. Nick gets taken down, so that's the end of the Gen team.
So the blue zone is now coming in, and the teams of Team 12 and 24 now have around 1,700 metres to go to get into the next zone. They're both rotating right, according to my view, and Turbinator has just been taken down by Neo and Phil with the VSS and I believe an AR.
I'm just looking, there's another crate come down just west of Gatka, and there's an AWN in it, and Welshie must be spelling AWMs today, because it looks like the team from DH, Team 4, are rotating all the way from George Pod crates. They're rotating straight to this drop. There's no one over there. There's got the Zen Kronos team just north of Gatka. But I don't think they're close enough to have any effect. So Team 4 coming in, it looks like they're being a bit cautious. They're scoping out just to see if there's anyone at the crate, which there isn't. So they could have 2 players with AWMs.
Now, Fusion Elite Hayat has just taken the Dacia and made a quick getaway from Komeshki, leaving Neo, Alex and I believe Phil, yes, to make their way into zone as well. So let's have a quick look and go straight over to Team 25, But beforehand, we have Team 19 doing another 2-1 split, with FE Bar now making their way in towards Shelter to meet Criminal and Jiggle.
Yeah, just looking at the west here, we've got the Rendezvous, Team 5. They've managed to rotate all the way from Primorse up to the north, just southwest of Hospital, and they went past Team 13, Elusive, who were in a compound just doing some looting, and they got some shots on each other, but Rendezvous managed to get past them. So Team 13 are heading north towards where Rendezvous are, and I think Team 4 may have actually heard some of the shooting. Just wondering if they're looking. No, they're looking in the opposite direction at the moment. Team 13 now. I thought they were going to head north and actually chase down Team 5, but they're not. I think they might be on foot as well. So perhaps that's why they can't give chase.
Now the Salty Snakes team of Team 25 are in the compound area of Georgia Pole, along with Team 3 Riot. Now it looks as though Team 25 know that a team is there, but they are choosing to just hold back a little and are not yet firing. Now that could possibly be because they're waiting for them to move out to try and get into the zone, and that is when they will start firing.
Well, maybe, but they actually parachuted in together, either side of the road, so they know there's another squad there. They've known since the start. So they're obviously, both teams being quite cautious there. I'm just looking at the very north, Team 7, Team 22, Risk and ZPX, very close to each other. With Neo here. They've had some shots. They've taken down one of Lionheart's Team 18, but Alex has been knocked as well, and they're all low on health because they're all in the blue. In fact, Neo, he's having to make a decision. He's run into zone just so he can at least one of them can survive. He hasn't got any meds either, so that's why he was under a bit more pressure.
Neither does Phil.
No, Phil. So Alex, I think, might make it into zone, I'm not sure. But I think what they're relying on is Ben Outno plays out takes down Alex. They're relying on waiting for Team 18 to come in. So they can maybe try and gatekeep, and hopefully they might be able to get some meds from their boxes. So they're going to have a bit of a strong defence here if they're going to, that plan's going to come off. So next zone's broken, and it's a fairly central zone here around sort of Chinky, School and Ruins. So no one's got a particularly hard rotation.
And Killam of Team 3 was just knocked by Fuji and a grenade. Killam is out in the open, but they are not getting the first as of yet. But in all fairness, they won't need to, as Killam will die
Can I
now.
just jump in here? Neo's got a decision to make here. They took down Team 18 as they ran into zone, but he's got to loot as quickly as possible because they took them down outside the zone. So he's got to try and, he manages to do it. Takes down half of the very little health he had, and he's managed to get some bandages. That's all he managed to get out of that. I'm sure he got some good weapons, but only some bandages. He has got some painkillers though, so that's going to help restore some of his health. So it was good play to wait, and he took the risk.
And now we've got Fuji, Avery and Andy now retreating away from Zen and Goddess. So it looks as though what they really wanted to do then was just kind of let them know that they're still there and just put the pressure on a little bit by taking down Killam from Team 3.
Yeah, I'm just looking over at the south here, just by the western bridge. We've got Team 21, Team 20, we've got 7 Atoms. In fact, we've got the 2 7 Atoms teams, Team 20 and Team 21, going up against each other. Now they're out of zone, but not far away from the edge of zone. Let's see if we get some good intra-clan rivalry. I'm sure they're the same as any other clan, they love to kill each other.
But the zone we've got now, it's not too much of a harsh zone. It's fairly centre. So all the teams have a really good chance of getting in. We also have the 2 teams down at the south end, Team 21 and Team 20, which is the 7 Atoms teams that you've just mentioned. And we have a couple of teams coming in from the western side. So the Paradox of Team 22 are in a really good position as they can now gatekeep not only Salty Snakes of Team 25, but Riot of Team 3.
Yeah, just looking here. So Snipes from 7 Atoms has managed to get away from Team 20. He had to drive away. I don't know if it was to draw fire for his teammates, but he's driven further out of the zone with the buggy. Maybe he's just trying to get a better position so he can put some covering fire down. Yeah, so he's got them in his sights now. He's got a DP28 with what looks like a 4x scope, which is a great combination. So he's taken fire, but he's also laying some shots down. So they've effectively now, because he made that rotation, it was a risky one in the buggy, but because he made that rotation, they are either side of Team 20. So Binks and Snipes there just trading shots. Binks with the Bison, Snipes with the DP28. Neither of them did a huge amount of damage, but Binks has now switched to the Car 98 with the 4x. Or 6x, I'm not sure actually. Gets a good shot on. Doesn't quite do enough damage for the knock, but takes a huge chunk out of Snipes' health. Team 4 from Deathly Hallows here. I've just gone on to Crazy, and I think he may be AFK by it. Is he AFK? Can't see his other teammates. Yes, they're getting involved south of Hospital. So it looks like Crazy is actually AFK. Welsh is putting some great damage in with the AWM though. Getting a couple of knocks on Team 13, the elusive team. And he finishes off Sing there. Revolt is not, and they're out of zone. So the blue zone's just come. They're only 46 metres away, but they're going to have to move quickly just to get Revolt back into the safety.
And Revolt is now choosing to use a full medkit whilst Team 13 try and get the revives. And Revolt is now going into the zone. So what they will hopefully plan to do is to stay in cover and try and gatekeep.
I was just looking from Elusive Jigger's point of view there. With the M4 getting a great spray on Revolt, but he was running side to side. He did a brilliant job there of evading the shots. So these two now, they had a vehicle tucked away safely, and they're choosing not to. Are they? Rotating into zone. Shots coming in from the DMC. They're treating it with quite a bit of respect here. They're giving them a very wide berth here in the UAZ. Just trying to rotate into zone. Health is going. So they didn't fancy going up straight up against the Deathly Hallows team. And they've gone past Crazy, who you say, it looks like he's AFK, just standing in the middle of the field. So the next zone shifted, and it's a bit of a harder shift here, centering around ruins. So a lot of open ground, but the mountain is still in play.
But that now means that all our teams on the eastern side need to move their way in, and there is a large group of them. So I am certain there will be some fighting as they make their way in. So I will go to team 16, and that is the System Killers having a look at Primus.
Yeah, so I'm just spectating Team 12 here, F.E. Hyatt, who's the last member of his trio still alive, in a small building here and surrounded by Team 6 from HS. In fact, here we go. I think it's just a matter of time now.
And Primus has just been knocked by Wilo with the AWM.
Yes, there's a few AWMs going around in this match. So very centre zone, and we've got a crate drop coming down, almost on top of 7 Atom Snipes there. It's got an AUG in it. Not quite the most powerful weapon, but it's still pretty useful. But of course, what he will be able to do is get all the fresh armour. So yeah, Team 12 FE taken down there by Team 6 in the end. So Team 4, Revolt and Welshie, taking the AWM up onto the top of the mountain there by the looks of it. Getting a good overwatch. Riot team has come up from Georgia Pole to join at the northern end of the mountain, and Team 5 here have rotated a long way from the north here, and they're coming round to west of Ruins. That's the rendezvous team. So you can actually see they're in one of the buildings, the secret basement.
Oh, and Subi runs over Tonka and now rushes to try and get the revive on Wilo. They are in the blue zone, so it may just be a race against time, and Nash goes down too.
So we're seeing now there aren't a huge number of teams outside the zone. Team 13 are crazy, still AFK. Oh, look at that zone shift. It hasn't shifted particularly to one side or the other, but it's going to put a lot of teams under pressure here, especially the teams around the east. So we're centering just south of Ruins, a lot of open ground. Okay, where are we looking? So possibly we've got Team 1623 on the very east of the new zone. So we've got the Kronos team and the HS team. So the play zone's finally knocked crazy.
And Subi, Nash and Wilo of the Z Paradox team are now leaving Rotok in their Dacia and moving towards the Ruins, trying to get behind Team 19.
Yeah, I'm just watching Team 25, which has got the Salty Snakes, and it looks like, has Avery been knocked, or have they just jumped out? No, Fuji's still driving. Avery jumped out of the vehicle, actually. I thought he might have been knocked. Andy K also jumped out, but they must have been going slightly too fast because he's now had to heal. And they're now putting some shots in on Team 21, the 7 Atoms team. They drove past the building where 7 Atoms were. They've also got Team 5, the rendezvous team, coming up to the left, and I don't think they realise they're there. So Team 25 are concentrating on Team 21. Team 5 could get a bit of third-party action there. Team 5 have also got the Team 40 from Jesse Hallows coming up behind them. Supreme takes down Revolt and gets to the finish as well. So it's just Welshie. But Welshie's quite far behind. It may be that because he's got the AWM, he'd rather do this at distance. So we've got a bit of a sniper battle now with Rendezvous Probot with the Car 98 against Welshie with the AWM. Welshie's out of zone. So they know exactly where he is now, they've just spotted him. Rendezvous takes Welshie down with the Car 98 just as Welshie was scoping in on his teammate. And now we've got the Riot team, Goddess and Zen coming in, driving past. So despite everyone originally being on the eastern side, it looks like this sort of northwest side of the zone is where the action is. Great stunt driving there by Zen and Goddess. Not a bit of jump, unfortunately it jumped them straight out of zone. In their smoking Dacia. And now we do have a hard shift. So if you look at the next zone, we've gone over to the right of the current zone, over to the east. So those teams that were struggling to make it from the eastern side, they're in the box seats now. Looks like Team 23 might be in a good position. They've got the only compound in zone by the looks of it.
And now we've got the Z Paradox team going up against Team 23 Zen. Busy Paradox now choosing to make their move.
So we've got Fuji knocked now. Team Avery takes down Junior. Sorry, Fuji's knocked and thirsted. We've got Andy K against Supreme here. Avery's still going. So there's only looks like it's only Supreme left from Rendezvous. Yep. The other two have been taken down. And none of these are in zone, so they're going to have to start thinking about, they've got 40 seconds. They're going to have to start thinking of getting towards zone. But I think Team 25 should be able to hold up Rendezvous quite well. And we've got the Riot squad. They're just getting into the vehicle now and they're rotating in from the compound where we're in. And it looks like they're heading straight for Team 13 down in the southwest. Some great work there from Jigger. Takes down Goddess. Nade coming in. Oh, that is a great nade. The two of them there, ANZ and Jigger, they had a nade each and they each took down one of the players that were behind the hay bale. That was a couple of great Covey shots there. Unfortunately, they've also taken out the vehicle though. So they were heading over to see if they could loot or use the vehicle. And unfortunately, there's nothing there for them.
Oh! And Rendezvous Supreme got the knock on Avery, but Avery and Supreme were then taken down by the play zone. So I'm not too sure who gets the 4 points.
I think if it doesn't count for a kill for Supreme, then it may well be that Avery gets away with it and no one gets the points. So Team 13 here, they're going to struggle to make it to zone. I think they're about to be taken down. Yeah, Jigger taken down. So I'm spectating Subi now. And there, takes down Jiggle in the vehicle. So down to our final three. And we've got 3 players on each team.
And it is the Z Paradox team of Team 22, Zen of Team 23, and 7 Atoms of Team 21.
Got a few knocks coming in. We've still got the AWM in play. So they've each got a sort of a chunk of the next zone. We've got Team 21, 10, 22 having a go at each other at the moment. Team 23, no one's actually taking shots at them just yet. Well, I think Subi might know they're there. So everyone's now in zone, so this is going to be very tight. But Team 21 are the only ones that looks like they've got the compound at the top of the hill.
Now, a quick mention must go out to the Z Paradox team, because they are relatively new to the UK scrim scene, but they have made one hell of an entrance.
Oh, definitely. Every scrim they're getting high kills, they're getting good placement points, they're winning some of the scrims. You can see they're all experienced players, and it looks like they've played with each other a lot as well. So, as the zone tightens now, they're all in zone. Team 21 top of the hill, they've got the only building. Although now Team 23 in the new zone, they're the only ones that are in zone, so we're going to have to see. What we did see from Subi in game 1 was a really strong rotation. He was only using the vehicle, but unfortunately they can't do that now. But Team 23 here, the Zen team, Kronos, Mustang and Saeed. Mustang's been knocked. Smoke's coming in to cover the revive.
The Paradox Nash has been taken down, and Wallow gets the knock on 7 Atoms Trippy.
Let's see how it lies. So a huge amount of smoke's coming in just to cover the revive. They've got a vehicle as well here, Team 23, and they're in zone. So they're in a fairly strong position now. Team 22, they're downhill as well, so they've got to make it up the hill to get into zone. So a load of tacticals, a load of throwables going out, lots of smoke, lots of nades. So 7 has some CJ with the vehicle, gets himself into zone, and now we can use the vehicle as a bit of cover. Great nade there from Mustang. Now I'm wondering if Team 21 are concentrating too much on what's in front of them. And in fact, yeah, so although Rhino gets the knock, Super gets the knock on Snipes, but they both go down to zone. In fact, no, sorry, Kronos from the other side of the playground.
Oh! What a finish there. And in first place is the Zen team with 5 kills. In second is 7 Atoms. In third is the Paradox. In fourth is Fusion Elite. In fifth is Elusive. In sixth is Salty Snakes. And in seventh is Rendezvous. Now, if you have enjoyed the stream, please follow the channel for more content. You are watching the Riot Trio Scrims, the Bounty Hunter Edition. I am Abs and I'm joined by Jammy. And we will be right back in a moment for game number 3.